Testing, testing. Welcome, everyone, to the Public Service Commission, Monday, July 13th. This is for PC52, the Supplier Diversity Conference for this year. I'd like to begin by making an opening statement. A lot of you may not know this, but in addition to my career in the legislature, I spent I spent at least 30 years as the chief financial officer of a company that was owned by an Indian American woman. And while the vast majority, it was not in this space. It was not a company that had anything to do with utilities in any way, shape, or form. But it was a hazardous waste disposal environmental consulting firm. The vast majority of our customers were private sector customers. We had some government contracts, and we were qualified as a minority female-owned small business. And, you know, I know that in the history of the United States and its economy, the vast majority of success is due to the hard work and diligence and, the luck of individual entrepreneurs and businesses. But it's also true, I think, that nobody gets to where they get to without help. It's true that the vast majority of us succeed by pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps, but for some people, they don't even have the bootstraps to pull up. And it is in that context that I want to make comments about what has been a very successful volunteer program for nearly 25 years. This program was broadly supported not just here in Baltimore, but in Annapolis as well, to a great extent because it was not a mandatory program, it was a voluntary one. And the successes in it are fairly easy to see. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small businesses, a lot of female, minority, veteran businesses were able to get their start through this wonderful program. And so I want to acknowledge that success, compliment all the participants in that wonderful history, and proceed in a way that will allow us at the end to come to a conclusion that will continue the progress that we have witnessed for a great amount of time, in spite of what is a directive coming not from Annapolis and certainly not from here, but from downtown DC. So with that, if there are any other individuals who want to make an opening statement, I'll welcome it. Otherwise, we will proceed to the first individuals, and the first individuals on our agenda are Danielle Martin, who's the Executive Director of Operations for DAW Construction, and Jeff Larson, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Art and Negative Graphics, Inc. If you could please come forward, if you're here. Okay, you are. We would love to hear from you. Danielle, your name is listed first, but whoever wants to go first, you're free to do that.
You want me to take it? Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jeff Larson. I'm from Art Negative Graphics. We are a woman-owned small business right outside of DC and PG County. Mm-hmm. So we do large-scale commercial printing. We do mainly contracts with state, local governments, also commercially with healthcare, colleges, universities, and just large businesses too. So we do a wide range of services, including print, mail, event staffing, warehousing, kitting, invoicing, wide format, including building signage, any kind of installation like that. We've been in business about 48 years. We're owned by a woman. Crazy thing is, I've been working with them about 15 years now. I've known the family for over 30 years. They've been in the industry forever. Some of my family have worked with the owners of our company. The employee retention that we have is a little over 17 years. So they keep us around. They treat us extremely well. Love working with them. They come in the office all the time, walk around, see how people are doing. It's a great environment to work in. We try to do as much as we can with the community that we do have around us in PG County. We're starting to work with Junior Achievements, which is a nonprofit that is going to go into high schools, where they come in to a certain building that we've actually wrapped with graphics and got all kinds of stuff ready for them. So they come in from high school, and different companies have a booth in there, and they teach them, when they get a job, this is what you should do. This is how you should prepare yourself, how you should act, how you should show up, which is huge. So we feel really good about that. Besides that, I think that's about it, unless you have any questions.
We'll entertain questions after hearing from Danielle. Well, I have to say, that reminds me of my company that I worked for. Danielle.
Hi, thank you for having me. So again, I'm Danielle. I am the executive operator.
Make sure your microphone is on and close to you.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Better.
Danielle, I am with Daw Construction. We have been in business since 2022. It is a woman-owned construction company. We do drywall, painting, concrete. We are a subcontractor. Our company has been thriving. Since we've been established, we have had several opportunities to work with larger GCs. And while we're here, the topic today, as we stated, is to speak on the supplier inclusion. And I think we all can agree that the supplier inclusion, was created to remove barriers and assist us with the challenges that we may have as small, local, minority, or woman-owned businesses. However, one of the challenges that my firm has faced is more so having that deeper mentorship. So while we've had the access to walk into rooms and network with the larger companies, and they're including us in their process on, winning contracts along with them, I found out that we're needing a more deeper mentorship, where we are more so not catering, but just paying attention more to those companies who are consistently and showing ambition towards where they want to go or where they want to carry their firm. So while we've had the opportunity to do the construction management courses and, follow behind larger GCs and see exactly how they, do their bidding and their processing and how they include the small businesses, rather than allowing us to just open the door, I am seeing that we need further assistance on actually walking through the door. And these things that we're being taught on how to be more inclusive in the larger GCs is show us how to operate these tools and, these networks that you're bringing us into. We come in, we smile, we greet, we meet people, we send emails, we introduce our firms, and then at some point it just stops. You know what I mean? So what I am looking for when it comes to the smaller, local, minority, woman-owned businesses, when you are providing us the guidance or you're including us in, again, the larger projects or allowing us to bid and be a part of what's going on here, just bring us in a little more. Give us a little more covering. Show us things a little more deeper so that we can have a better understanding on how to use our tools and actually become a part of the process. Allow our firm to work with the larger firms and make a difference and actually start to create jobs and create the opportunities so I can say, wow, I was brought into this network of people. I was given the option to come and join these different courses and management courses, and someone actually took my firm under their wing and guided us through these doors and showed us this is how you use the tools. This is what we're looking for, again, on a deeper mentorship level.
Thank you. Any questions for these witnesses? Go ahead, Commissioner Suchman.
Good morning. First, thank you for coming and for being the first panel. I know it's a stressful moment when And I don't know if this is the first time that you've ever presented, but you both.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you did a great job. So thank you. For Ms. Martin and Mr. Larson, how many employees do you have in your companies?
My company has 30 employees.
Okay, and Mr.
We have about 55.
Okay, and the employees that you have are all local?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you bring folks in, do you have a training program? Are you sort of, I mean, are you bringing them in at with different skill sets? Are you sort of expecting educations or particular education, or do you have programs in place where you're actually doing the educating?
Yes, ma'am. We do hire most of our craftsmen to be skilled. However, if there are any learning curves that they may have, we do participate in training. My company also sponsors a carpentry course that we give our providers. I'm sorry, not providers. Sorry, I work in healthcare as well. my firm, we also provide a carpentry course to our craftsmen. We also take our foremen and we build and develop them into becoming project management and other field operators that we need to conduct the company. And again, we pour this into our craftsmen ourselves. This is all self-funded, the courses and the training that we put them through.
Okay, and Mr. Larson?
Yeah, we have standard operating procedures for pretty much every position we do have. From the administration level, we don't need experience to come in. They just come in. We can train them how to do that. It's mainly just customer service. On the back end, for our industry, you pretty much have to have a lot of skill set. It's a very kind of a niche industry we have when it comes to running presses, and now with the technology that we've invested in lately over the last 4 or 5 years, everything is extremely digital. We do try to educate from within and promote from within. If people are just helpers and then they want to be an operator, we definitely do that. And then what we'll do is we will hire for operator help, and you don't need any experience from that. So we do hire from outside the community on that end. But most of the big machines that we have are in the multi-million-dollar range. So just to try to train somebody on those would be kind of difficult. You need some background and you need some experience from that. It is hard though, and in our industry to get people that are experienced. We've had that challenge probably over the last 5 or 6 years.
Okay, and so for those challenges, where do you look within the community and work to train them so that you have that skill set within?
Yeah, there's a few different avenues that we definitely go to LinkedIn, Career Builder, put out ads, put out job openings. We also do that throughout the community too. Even if we'll put out an ad and say you need 5 years experience, but we'll have 100 people that don't have experience come in. So the experience is extremely, extremely important. The other thing that's very important is just their attitude. You know what I mean? If they're really willing to work and they just need a job. Like I said, we're family owned, family run. They'll bring people in. We do that in our busy season for healthcare, which is usually in between September and January when open enrollment is. We do a lot of healthcare for a lot of the major healthcare companies in the tri-state area. Okay. We'll bring in up to 10 people just on a part-time. And they seem to really like it. And we've been hiring the same 10 people for the last 4
And those are local as well?
They're local, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And can you speak a little bit about your engagement with the community? Sort of, and not just sort of outreach for employees, but sort of other things that you do, sort of the local job fairs or just the local July 4th parade. I mean, if you could just talk a little bit about sort of how you engage with the local community.
In our community, we are located off of North Avenue. North Avenue has about 2 community outreach programs where they come around and they clean up the community. They put dumpsters in the community, and Dog Construction participates with that process. We may haul the dumpsters, we may bring the dumpsters, we'll get our guys out in the community and they clean up around the North Avenue area. We're also participating with, I believe it's called WNATA, sorry, I can't say what the acronym means, but it's WNATA, and it's again a North Avenue program that they have where they're building up North Avenue. So Daw Constructions participates in their meetings monthly. We're also engaging and networking with a lot of the other small businesses that are looking to gain communication, well, not communication, sorry, relationships with construction companies to help build up the project. Also, I own and operate a mental health and wellness center, and we also join Daw Construction with the mental health and wellness center, where we go out, we feed, we invite people to the wellness center just for lunch or breakfast, and we also do a lot of cleanup around the area as well.
Okay, thank you. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
There's a couple different ways that we actually engage with our community. So, like I said before, we do a lot of work with healthcare and commercial businesses that we warehouse a ton of stuff for. About 56,000 square foot of our building is just warehousing and kitting. So a lot of times when they have items that they give away and they expire, they just say throw it away. Well, we don't throw it away. We actually donate it to a lot of schools and churches within our areas that are, lower income, where they don't have a lot of stuff. So, and it could be very important stuff. It could be coloring books, crowns, workbooks, thermoses, tumblers, just anything like that they really like and they really enjoy. So we'll donate that to a lot of schools and churches in our area. Like I said before, we're working with the Junior Achievements Project, which are bringing in high schoolers to, get them ready for the workforce. We'll actually open up our shop too and do plant tours. We love doing plant tours for everyone, even if they're not in our industry. We have other communities and community leaders and other panelists and that will come in and just say, hey, we just want to get our members to look to see what else is out there, what else is going on, how do your industry work, and it's a neat little tour. The equipment that we've put in place is not like your normal print shop. We are pretty much 100% digital now, and it's really cool to actually watch it and see it, watch the plant go. So.
Okay. Thank you. And just listening to you can really get a sense of the value of local businesses to the community. And so you're not just out there doing the work, but you're actually taking care of the community as well. So thank you both. That's all I have.
I have a question for Ms. Martin. Since Daw Construction is in the construction industry, the company I work for was construction adjacent. Oftentimes construction firms would ask us to take care of hazardous waste that was on a construction site so that they could proceed. One of the things that I noticed early in my career with that company was that the construction industry tends to have a little group of people who are very affiliated with one another, the prime contractors in particular. I wonder if you could comment on how these kind of programs that benefit small, minority, female-owned companies, how these kind of programs help you break into that network so that one day you can grow up and become a prime contractor yourself, because I noticed that as a phenomenon in my experience. If you'd care to comment on that, since yours is a construction area and I sort of understand that, I wonder if you could comment on that.
Yes, sure. So as I was speaking in my opening statements, that we do have a lot of programs here where the larger primes, they allow you to break into their world, and it may be by way of joining their construction management courses or joining different networking events that are hosted, and they're hosting the primes, and you get to come out as a small supplier and you meet them. So with that, my firm itself, we've completed about 2 to 3 different construction management courses with the larger primes. And I'm not going to say any names today, but we have. And again, once we break through that, we have that opportunity to complete their construction course where they teach us about, how to get jobs with them, how to win the bids, how to create the proposals, things of that nature. But they teach us on, again, breaking into their world. Once we break in, or we have the knowledge, and what I call very respectfully surface level knowledge that they've provided us, at that point, your firm becomes kind of like, okay, now what do we do? Now what? We may have the opportunity to bid on a job that is available, and then once we do, it's still kind of done at a blind sight, meaning we can only apply but so much of what we've learned. Again, it's very surface level. So with that, again, we do have the opportunities to break into the world. It's given to us. The door is definitely open for us. It's more so having that assistance on walking through it. Now, what do we do? How do we apply these tools?
Okay, thank you very much. There don't appear to be any other questions. Thank you, both of you, for testifying. It's been a very useful way to begin this process, to hear about your experience in your respective industries, and good luck growing and becoming bigger and more successful. Thanks.
Thank you.
I would like to turn now to our staff. Alex Lee, who's a regulatory economist. Yes, sir. Oh, yes. Okay. Did Danielle Martin and Jeff Larson spell their name? You're okay. You're okay with that. Okay. I'll from here on out. Mr. Lee, if well, there we go. That should take care of you. Oh. Did I mess that up? It's on the agenda. It's Alex next. Oh, was there an updated one? Oh. Well. Okay. Well, let's. Okay. The updated agenda has Vernice Lewis with the Maryland Utility Forum. So let's go first to Vernice, and then we'll go to.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and the commissioners. I want to thank you for the opportunity to offer a brief update on the Maryland Utility Forum, or the MUF. For those who may not be familiar, the Maryland Utility Forum, or the MUF, serves as a collaborative group of utilities and industry stakeholders that come together to share leading practices, discuss supplier engagement strategies, and identify opportunities to strengthen participation by local businesses across the state. Over the past year, the forum has been reconvened and reactivated. We're working collaboratively throughout the state, so we have reestablished regular dialogue, we've renewed participation, and focused our efforts on ensuring that supplier engagement remains an important component of how we support Maryland's economy and communities. One of the most important accomplishments of the renewed forum has been our partnership with the Maryland Public Service Commission in helping shape discussions for this year's conference. Through conversations among utility representatives and commission staff, the forum contributed ideas regarding conference themes, speakers, supplier participation, and opportunities to highlight the impact that supplier engagement has on Maryland businesses and communities. The theme chosen for today's conference, The Business of Powering Communities, reflects the forum's shared belief that supplier engagement is about much more than procurement. It is about creating opportunities for local businesses, supporting job creation, strengthening communities, and building a reliable supplier ecosystem capable of supporting the state's growing infrastructure and energy needs. The forum has also worked to identify and elevate supplier voices. Many of the discussions that led to today's supplier participation and community-focused conversations began through collaboration among forum members who wanted to ensure that Maryland-based suppliers had an opportunity to share their experiences and their perspectives. Our focus remains straightforward. We want to continue creating opportunities for utilities to collaborate, share best practices, and support the growth of businesses throughout Maryland. We recognize the regulatory and business landscape continues to evolve, but our commitment to engagement, partnership, and economic opportunity remains strong. Again, thank you for the opportunity to provide this update.
Thank you. Just for the record, remind me what companies are affiliated with the Utility Forum.
So the Maryland Utility Forum includes all the utilities across the state of Maryland and all those who are participating in the MOU and who are actively partnering with the Commission to drive local spending.
Very well, thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Linton.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Linton.
Just one quick question. I appreciate that you're here today representing the forum. Could you tell us more about the rest of the leadership? I know it's not just you.
No, it's not just, so we have not we have not formalized the leadership yet, but Exelon, we have hosted the past few meetings. So we will be formalizing leadership with the MOU as far as voting for leadership, but we have hosted the last 2 meetings,
Okay.
which is why I've been asked to present.
Okay,
So,
fair enough. Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. Now we will go to Brett Bave, who is a regulatory economist with the commission. Yeah, if you would like to sit up here, that would be terrific.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Brett Bave with PSC Technical Staff. I'm pleased to provide an overview of the 2025 Supplier Diversity Annual Report. As you know, Maryland has had a very successful history with its Supplier Diversity Program since its inception more than 30 years ago. The goal of the program is to encourage companies in the MOU to promote contracting opportunities for minority, women, veteran, service-disabled, and LGBT-owned veteran and service-disabled and LGBT-owned businesses, along with nonprofits and hub zone businesses. PC52, formerly PC16, was established under HB 1197, introduced by late Delegate Rawlings and Congressman Cummings. A year later, the Commission created the first MOU and established the 25% goal. Later, in 2008, the Commission established PC16 and later PC52 so that all related information could be docketed appropriately. In 2009, Commissioner Emeritus Harold Williams began the first of these in-bank hearings on this topic, and 6 regulated utilities signed on to the MOU first established in 1993. Now, in 2026, the joint participants in the MOU have exceeded the program goal for 8 years in a row, and 10 of the active signatories have exceeded the 25% goal for the 2025 year. This is the simple calculation underpinning staff's report and analysis of the 25% DSR goal. We take the total diverse supplier procurement reported by companies taking part in the MOU, divided by the total utility procurement to arrive at the DSR we use in the report. The joint participants in the MOU reached a 36.98% DSR, the 8th year the joint participants have greatly exceeded the goals set by the Commission. The figure is down from 42.27% in 2024, primarily driven by the withdrawal of 2 MOU participants. 6 companies have continued their commitment to the MOU for the past 17 years, including the Association of Maryland Pilots, BG&E, Delmarva Power and Light, Potomac Edison, PEPCO, and WGL. Now we're on to the comparison of diverse supplier procurement, or DSP, versus total utility procurement, or TUP. Utilities active in the MOU spent $4.14 billion in total procurement in 2025, as compared to $1.53 billion in diverse spending, leading to our 36.98% DSR. This figure is down substantially from its 2024 peak due to the withdrawal of 2 parties in the MOU. This chart depicts both the annual growth and change in DSR since 2009. The DSR changed significantly this year from 42% to 36%, driven primarily by the withdrawal of those 2 MOU participants. Later in this presentation, I will show you the normalized effect of removing those companies that have left the MOU. This table summarizes the prior graph. As you can see, 2018 was the first year parties jointly reached the 25% goal, and parties remain substantially ahead of that goal in 2025. This table summarizes the overall reduction in DSP and TUP in 2025, with a total reduction of $614.69 million in DSP and a $935.48 million reduction in TUP. Companies that met the overall 25% goal remained below last year's high of 11, but above 2022 and 2023 reporting years. 7 companies increased their DSP in 2025 as compared to 2024. This table shows the overall reductions in 2025 from 2024 that sum up to the $614.69 million reduction in diverse spend compared to 2024. The greatest percentage reductions were in spending on service-disabled veteran-owned enterprises and not-for-profit workshops. This slide covers the normalized figures, removing the 2 companies from the 2024 data recorded by staff to show the percent change in total diverse spending between 2025 and 2024. Total diverse spend reduced by just 0.5%, or $7.68 million. There were increases in total spending on minority-owned enterprises, with an increase of $56 million. But the largest decrease was in spending on veteran-owned enterprises, with a net decrease of $40 million. As compared to earlier slides, this slide shows the normalized total spending and diverse spending over the past 3 reporting years, after removing departing companies from both 2023 and 2024 data. You'll note that the annual percent change in growth is much improved, as compared to the raw figures, with a decrease of 3% in DSR and a decrease of 6.42% in growth. While 2024 still had the highest DSR at 39.51% in this normalized table, you can see that the total reduction in DSR was primarily driven by increases in total utility procurement. Finally, as we look forward to 2026, staff will continue to improve data collection. While this year's report relied more fundamentally on raw data, we aim to include more apples-to-apples comparisons, as I did in the latter part of this presentation, to aid the Commission in understanding year-over-year changes to the DSR, DSP, and TUP. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Questions for our staff member? Apparently not. Thank you. Oh, you do have a question. I thought you were saying no. Pardon me.
No. Good morning.
Good morning.
The filed report that the staff presented filed in this docket, as well as the report today, didn't identify the NAICS codes that are incorporated into the reports that are filed. Just for purposes of the record here today, could you identify what those are? I believe there's about 10 of them.
I don't have the NAICS codes here in my presentation, but I'm happy to get you that information.
Okay. Perhaps as you provide it to us, we can incorporate it into, somehow or another get it into the report so that the parties and the public will know the source of the spend categories, because as the staff acknowledged, the categories are what we generally term diverse spend. But that diverse spend is measured by the NAICS codes that are federal in nature, but only identify certain categories of spend for different companies, for all the companies. So it'd be good to know what we're measuring under diverse spend and what we're not measuring under diverse spend.
Absolutely.
Any further questions?
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. At this point in the process, we always set aside a little bit of time for members of the public, if they're here, who wish to comment before we get to the more formalized reports from the various utilities. So is there anyone here from the public who would wish to make comments at this point? Okay, please. Tell us what your name is and spell it for the court reporter when you begin.
Excuse me. Good morning. My name is Wayne Frazier. That's Frazier. And I am president of the Maryland Washington Minority Companies Association. And I am extremely honored to be here this morning to speak in front of commissioners, and discuss on behalf of our members and 27,000 strong e-subscribers that we have here in the DMV. I am honored to be here. This is probably my 14th hearing. And I'm extremely shocked that the room isn't packed anymore. It used to be. Legislators couldn't wait to get here to speak in front of you. And I don't think I see any this morning. However, except for the July 25 meeting, I have had the pleasure to address each and every hearing. And over the years, I have observed total annual spending amongst the participating regulated utilities increase and become the pride of America. Praise Harold Williams. This year is no exception, and it's still an everyday challenge by the utilities to meet the requirements and spirit of the MOU. I thoroughly understand the challenges of the PC52 MOU, as well as maintaining safe, affordable, and reliable services that regulated utilities are mandated to achieve. Most have met the 25% spending goal, and overall spending continues, except for the last 2 years, to improve. Congratulations. However, now there's a new challenge for you. Now we must embark on a much higher mission to save our state, and that is to increase generation and transmission. Unfortunately, simply because there is not enough of each to satisfy this generation's growing and vast thirst and need for greater electrical capacity. Simply put, regulated utilities in Maryland must be able to own, design, build, and maintain generation plants. Utilities under Escalon operating in Maryland, known as BGE and PEPCO, who provide the state's largest base of service to ratepayers in Central Maryland, the D.C. region, and Eastern Shore, are handcuffed. Those utilities have to purchase electricity. They have to purchase electricity at whatever price the producer sells for. And those current producers are not regulated by you and are not here this morning. That seems extremely odd, given your strong oversight and, or as some call in the streets, a heavy hand. None of them are here this morning, and I guess the question is, why aren't they regulated too? On the transition side, the Public Service Electric and Gas, PSEG, from New Jersey, is ready with design, financing, and tremendous diverse supplier participation to build new transmission, and it's stalled. It's been stalled. Stay stalled. This, I believe, is an abomination. And yet, ratepayers still complain about high costs. We must not delay and allow them to move with their project. Both new generation transmission will increase supply diversity spend to heights higher beyond what we've seen in basic construction and maintenance. However, I also see a new opportunity, a new economic opportunity for supply diversities, and that is within the professional services industries in areas like commercial liability insurance, finance, surety, design, legal, etc. Here in Maryland, we have 2 of the nation's 16 minority-owned banks. Imagine this. Imagine this. Minority-owned bank taking lead in syndicated financing to raise the funds to help build these generation plants. Trust me, your public utilities who are part of this, they'll go for it because that helps increase their spend. Plus, it's good for the community because what it's doing is creating new opportunities that's never been around before. And that's what you guys and ladies, in my opinion, are supposed to do. In closing, this past legislative session, there were bills introduced in the House and the Senate that would have provided the utilities, your regulated utilities, who wanted to be in this industry, an opportunity to design, build, and construct their own plants. But it went nowhere. I don't know why, but I can imagine, and this is not a conspiracy, I imagine that Governor Moore didn't get the message from you that this is good for Maryland. The ratepayers deserve better. We need more generation, and you guys and ladies can be a part of that process to develop greater economic opportunities and growth for diverse suppliers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you very much, sir. Let's now turn to...
Oh, can I leave you with something?
Oh, of course.
Sure.
Just give it to our staffer in the box, our advisor.
My annual booklet.
Oh, okay. Just terrific. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to utility reporting. Just as a matter of timing, somewhere in the next half hour, we'll take a brief break. But for right now, 10 of the 14 utilities that have filed reports this year have met or exceeded the Commission's supplier diversity goals, reaching 25% or more for spending with women, minority, not-for-profit, veteran, service-disabled veteran, and LGBTQ-owned enterprises in the state. In total, the company spent approximately $1.53 billion, which is a decrease from last year. So we have a number of individuals who have signed up to testify. Let's begin with Comcast. I understand Sean Carroll is here. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. This is my first supplier diversity conference for Comcast, and I'm excited to lead things off here for the participants. Like any good leadoff hitter, I'm going to be fast, and I'm going to set the table for the power behind me. So I just want to say that it's great to be a part of this. I'm very proud of our vendors. I'm very proud of the company that I work for. And again, I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity. So with that, I'm going to move it on and pass it off to my colleagues behind me. But thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Carroll? Seeing none? Oh, yes, go ahead,
Thank
Commissioner
you,
Lynn.
Chairman. Good morning. Just no question. Just to note that Comcast had our highest percentages, or certainly do appreciate that, and to welcome you. This, as you said earlier, is your first time being here. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Let's proceed to Captain Eric Nelson, my old buddy from my days at the Environment and Transportation Committee. Captain Eric. Shame you're not wearing your uniform, though.
No, not today. Good morning. It's great to see you again. Today I have our Vice President with us, Captain Noah Seipel. Jim McGee is not here. He's on a trip with his wife and children. So I'm very pleased that we have hit the highest level of DSR in our effort at this, at 43.5%, and it was also our highest level of diverse spend. So we think we're going to do better for 26.
Okay.
And now we're ready for any questions.
Okay. That was quick and sweet. Any questions here? I think you've done a great job of testifying and avoiding questions. So thank you very much, Captain.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it should be on the sheet. Oh, the second captain. Yeah. Actually, yes. Could you? Oh, yeah. You're right.
Noah Seipel, S-E-I-P-L-E.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's next go to Exelon Vernice.
Good morning again. I'd like to thank the Commission for the opportunity to provide this year's update on Exelon's work to support small and local businesses across Maryland and the broader communities served by PEPCO, BGE, and Delmarva Power. This year, our focus has been on moving from activity to impact, making sure our procurement efforts are not only competitive, but also intentional in how they create access, build supplier readiness, and support economic growth in the communities we serve. In 2025, Exelon's local utilities, BGE, Delmarva Power, and PEPCO, directly spent more than $2 billion with small and local businesses. PEPCO spent about $860 million with small and local suppliers, representing approximately 51% of total supply managed spend. BGE spent around $857 million, or approximately 53% of total spend, and Delmarva Power spent $461 million, or approximately 59% of total spend. What's important to us is what sits behind these numbers. Businesses gaining access to utility work, communities benefiting from local investment, and partnerships that can grow over time. To continue building that pipeline, our supply organization, including strategic sourcing, works side by side with the Community Business Empowerment Office to identify upcoming opportunities and connect qualified small and local suppliers to the competitive bid process. This collaboration helps us strengthen the way we work by ensuring that opportunities are surfaced early enough to identify capable suppliers, that prime suppliers and our business units understand their role in expanding access, and how we continue to help local businesses compete. We also recognize that access alone is not enough. Businesses need the capacity, the confidence, and the industry knowledge to compete successfully, which is why our supplier development programs remain an important part of our work. Since 2013, our empowerment academies have helped more than 100 local suppliers strengthen their businesses through training. In early 2026, we launched our first TNS Empowerment Academy, which brought together small and local vendors from across the enterprise to better align their capabilities with future business needs. We also completed the 4th round of our Foundations program in partnership with the Global Supply Chain Network and the Capital Region MSDC. This program gives local businesses a clearer understanding of the utility industry and helps prepare them to compete for future opportunities. Again, I'd like to thank the Commission for your continued leadership and engagement. Your focus on supplier engagement and local economic opportunity helps reinforce the importance of this work and keeps us all focused on outcomes that benefit customers, businesses, and communities. As we look ahead, Exelon remains committed to building a stronger supplier pipeline, expanding access to opportunity, and ensuring that our investments continue to support the economic vitality of Maryland and the communities we're proud to serve. Thank you again for the opportunity to share this update.
Would any of you like to testify either?
I don't have anything additional to add. Just for the record, though, Crystal Barnett on behalf of BGE.
And Matt Seegers on behalf of Pepco and Delmarva Power.
Okay. Does the court reporter have the spelling for Crystal Barnett? And are you good?
I can provide for
Yeah.
you, sure.
Go ahead. Just
Oh.
say it now.
CrystalBarnett.
Matthew Tutis, Segers.
All right. Questions? Questions? All right. I suppose we have no questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. Before we move to washing gas, let's take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 11 o'clock. let's continue with Washington Gas. Who would like to go first, Spencer or?
Just for the record, Spencer Nichols on behalf of Washington Gas. That's SpencerNichols.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Delon Johnson, spelled Delan. I am the Senior Manager of Supplier Access and Strategic Partnerships for Washington Gas. I'm here with my manager, Mark Reed.
Good morning. Mark Reed. I'm the Vice President of Supply Chain for our U.S. Utilities segment, which is Washington Gas and Simcoe. It's an easy one for you. MARK and then REED.
Very well. Who'd like to start?
I would. First slide, please. For 2025, our numbers were amazing. We did a great job at kind of highlighting the impact of the spend that was dispersed to small businesses. Our annual spend was $722 million. 205 of that went to the indirect impact. Also, 5,622 jobs were supported. 477 million incomes were earned. 263 million in due spending, and 146 million in taxes were generated. So the total economic impact for 2025 was $1.2 billion.
Maybe I'll elaborate here. This is the second year of our local supply chain impact program. We've historically just reported to the Commission the subset of our spend with small and diverse vendors and certified vendors. The numbers that Delon just went over was the impact essentially of our total procurement spend, regardless of like the vendors. We realized we were underreporting our total impact in the communities that we all serve and live in. So the indirect spend is essentially the amount of money that is the direct spend with our providers that they then go on to spend in the local community, maybe buying cement or other services. We use a third party called Supplier IO. Actually, our peers, Verizon, first did this, I think, as the behest of the DC Commission to see if there was a way for us to quantify the total economic impact of our spending in the communities. And they've got a lovely methodology that uses the NICS codes and estimates. So these are estimates, but over 5,000 jobs supported. You can see the incomes that are associated with those. And then the induced spending is the money that those folks then in turn spend in the local community on things like groceries and housing and entertainment, and then the amount of taxes that are generated through all of that. We've actually got some samples of these reports as well that we're happy to pass out. We're excited about this and think that it's a great thing for others maybe to consider adopting as well.
These are Maryland numbers?
So this is our total spend, but what we've done is we've got cuts of it so that you can then see the subset of this just for Maryland, just for DC, just for Virginia, and just for Michigan. And then we have one that shows all of WGL, so the DMV region itself, knowing that people have specific constituents that you want to be able to report this information to. And all of this we intend to have up online and post every year publicly so folks can continue to kind of see our commitment and hold us accountable.
Okay.
I think the next slide,
Yeah.
Delon, if you want to go
Yeah.
there, has the subset that is from a diverse perspective.
Absolutely. So we would also like to highlight that in 2025, we dispersed $183 million amongst 242 certified suppliers, which equivalent to 35.9% of our spend. This was actually up 32.7% from 2023, which is 9.8% year-over-year improvement, which is trending even higher in 2025 at 37.2% through May. Next slide, please. Another initiative that we have is our Strive for 35 program. This is our access to capital. This is administered through the Prince George's County Financial Services Corporation, FSC First. So far, since the program has started, we have dispersed 4 loans. We have 4 pending loan applications that's under review. 1 loan so far that has been dispersed has been repaid in full. FSC First and Washington Gas, in an effort to increase education and participation, is launching a monthly educational series to help to educate businesses on how to apply for the program, the benefits of the program. In addition to that, FSC has now hired additional staff that's going to help to expand and give more information to promote the program. Next slide. Another initiative is we would like to highlight Washington Gas is very committed to outreach, and one of the ways that we are in the community is that we actually host an annual award ceremony. At the award ceremony, we are distributing awards to internal stakeholders as well as external stakeholders. One actual award was given to one of our colleagues, Shandon Drouard, because of his outreach, because of his efforts related to our program. This particular award, the Harold D. Williams Award, is in honor of the commissioner because of his commitment to the actual program. And so we started to distribute this award last year, and this will be an annual thing.
Shannon is our senior manager of business data and analytics, and it took a lot of time and effort to get all the data cleansed to put together these economic impact reports, and needing to carefully go through and identify where we had work locations so that we could tag the money to the right jurisdictions and states. So he did an awesome job. But those external stakeholders, this is the first year we actually asked our internal departments to nominate their top performing vendors. And awarded those folks themselves and let everybody have a word to talk about that. So, really nice event.
I also mentioned how important outreach is to Washington Gas. So, also on an annual basis, we host a biz pitch event where we collaborate with other utility companies like BGE, Pepco, American Water, where we get together as judges, and we have a group of suppliers to give them the opportunity to pitch their companies and to kind of share information about their companies. And then after the event, we actually monitor those suppliers to see whether or not they've had any progress. I'm happy to say that Dahl Construction was one of the participants at last year's biz pitch event as well.
Delon does an excellent job with this, and every year the challenge is like, how can you increase the impact? And, having led supply chain for a number of different companies and consulted to many others, there's always an internal challenge to get folks to consider new vendors, and you only have so many windows when the things are available for bidding. So one of the lovely things that she was able to do was to get these additional firms that maybe we don't have an immediate need for a supplier, but they might. And I think just about every one of these vendors was already somebody's incumbent, so they already came with a certain level of qualification, if you will. So we're looking forward to an even bigger event this year. When is the next one, Delon?
September the 10th.
September the 10th. And Accenture's been a great partner for us. They hosted it there, actually their global headquarters, because their CEO is based in D.C. So we have a really nice location for that too.
So that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Suchman.
So this is actually not so much a question as a comment, and I've often been accused of starting a question and it's really a comment, but then sometimes it turns into a question. But I actually was very intrigued by the slide, the impact slide. If you can kind of go back to that there. And I think that sometimes we undervalue the benefit to the community if we only look at one area. And you had that sense in our very first panel where they talked about sort of giving back to the community. So it's not just you giving to them, but then sort of trickle down benefits. They're giving back to the community, so that there is a huge value in engaging with local vendors, not just because of the benefit in enhancing the opportunities for local vendors, but then also seeing the benefit that the community gets in how they engage with the community. So
no, I appreciate
it. So I liked seeing that.
Yeah, we're excited about it too, and hope it becomes like a more widely adopted approach. Obviously, the the focus today is on a sort of a subset of the supply base, but we realize we've been really collectively underreporting the impact that the utilities have or any company has in the community. And so this is a great way for that story to be told. And then we can still sort of break out the subset of that that's with certified small and diverse businesses.
Yeah, no, so thank you. And that's all I have.
Commissioner Linton.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, good morning.
Good morning.
I guess I have to be the one to ask the different question regarding your letter that you submitted to the commission on June 26th. According to that letter, Washington Gas notified the commission that you were terminating your participation in the MOU. Is that still the case for the company?
That is still the case, and I believe we reached out to talk to the commission about the dilemma that we and I think a lot of other folks who are federal contractors are facing that have to attest and certify that we're compliant with federal law. Not an easy decision, as you might imagine. I think what you see is us showing up, and I was interested actually in some of the earlier slides because you had a couple folks that withdrew last year as well, and you showed the decrease in spending. That spending is probably still there, so I don't know if there's a creative way for us to continue to share that information, and maybe there's a different color on the bar chart, because that impact is still going to be there.
So I guess that kind of brings me to my next question. In your letter, you noted that you would continue to operate your supply program in conformance with federal law. And while I've got thoughts about how that actually works, I'm curious as to what Washington Gas thinks that means. So what are you doing now? Now that you're no longer adhering to the MOU, what does your program look like now?
So I think we received a data request from your staff on Friday with a good sort of 9 or 10 questions, and we've got a meeting on Wednesday to make sure that we're all aligned on how to respond to that, but fully intend to do so, and I think that will address your questions. I think the one thing I would want to reiterate is that the one thing that's not changing is the commitment to our ratepayers and the communities that we serve in. We're still willing to show up here every year if you'll have us. We're still willing and will be providing publicly available information that's calculated and validated by independent third parties that will show you the spending in different segments of our supply base. So we unfortunately live in some very interesting times and are all trying to find a way forward.
Okay, well, that actually brings me to one of my other questions. But before we leave the other topic, so you're obviously you're producing data. I agree with you on that. It still exists. The company is obviously still engaged with the community. And I shouldn't let it not go unsaid that as a founding member of the program, you've been in it for almost 30 years now as a company. And so I certainly do appreciate that. There's been many, I don't know the actual number, but probably hundreds of companies, maybe even thousands of smaller companies that have done very well working with Washington Gas over the years. So that shouldn't go without being said. I am curious as to the data and information that you're presenting, that you're gathering now, that you still have. Obviously, it doesn't match the type of data that we were collecting from you under the MOU. Are you still collecting the data that we collected, that we asked you to collect and that you agreed to collect under the MOU? And if you are, what is happening with it?
I think you're seeing the output of that here. So we still retain the ability to slice and dice our data and show different views and different perspectives. We still have a Tier 2 program where folks are reporting their spend with subcontractors. We still have independent verification of our spend. No company is successful without their supply base. Very few companies do everything on their own. So we depend on our suppliers every day. We happen to live in a very diverse market with lots of wonderful, qualified, diverse, and small vendors. I don't suspect you're going to see much change in terms of the impact, and we're here to be accountable. So we'll show you that routinely.
So, but you're not going to file the report that you would file every year under the MOU?
Correct.
But you still have the data?
We do.
Okay.
I think when we are able to respond to your data requests from Friday, it'll become a little bit clearer, kind of what our challenges are and how we're hoping to still provide data that you would care about and your constituents would care about.
Okay, I've been trying to avoid that because that's a separate
Right.
proceeding and process. But I appreciate that guidance. Um, help me to understand what the the levels of the decision to withdraw from Maryland's MOU. Obviously, the District of Columbia has a variation of a supplier diversity program. AltaGas, as part of as their parent company, has been engaged in different variations of programs like that across its entire footprint. Have you ceased everything, or is it only in Maryland?
So we essentially have got to comply with federal law, and I guess that's where you're saying maybe you have some interpretations or views on that as well. I think I've got to probably defer to the greater team and the responses to those data requests. And I do believe like we reached out ahead of our decision to explain our position and that dilemma. But I'm probably not the best one to articulate all of that. I'm one of several stakeholders in the company on the topic.
All right. Has there been aside from the filing that you made with the commission, obviously with having been in the program for so many years, there are many other constituents and organizations, elected officials, advocacy groups that have been aware of and supportive of Washington Gas's participation in this program. Have you made an effort to make some outreach to them to let them know that you're no longer participating?
I am not sure exactly like how far we've gone with all of that, but certainly there have been conversations and things like that, but I haven't been party to those. But again, I think you're seeing the dilemma that many folks face that are federal contractors with trying to be compliant with federal law, which includes all executive orders, and that goes as far as having us to actually formally attest and certify that we are compliant with those orders and those laws. So ultimately, that was the kind of major factor that led to the decision.
Okay, so I'll, Mr. Chairman and my colleagues, I won't keep taking up the time. The only thing I'll note is that the original MOUs were written several years ago, and so they were written to be flexible so that we could modify them and change them as we needed to adapt to the times. They've been modified several times, in fact. As you know, this most recent filing was back in August of 2024, so it's 2 years ago. So there's a part of me that wishes that that process of interacting between commission, all of whom my colleagues in the past are the ones that would have signed the MOU, and the company's executives, that open back and forth would have happened before you withdrew. So that to the extent we could have found a way forward, we could have done so. But it doesn't appear as though that really happened, and that's, I think, a lost opportunity. My hope is that going forward, those are not, the company is a bit more open to at least understanding that that MOU was voluntary, but it was also an agreement between the commission and the utility, and each of them are individual. And at least for Washington Gas, when it was first negotiated several years ago, yours was custom to Washington Gas. It had components and elements in it that you required that other utilities didn't. And so that was done because of the fact that there were specific needs that, as one company needed, that others didn't need. But at the same time, the commission was very open to that. So my hope is that going forward, as you operate your supplier program, not just in conformance with federal law, but also in conformance with what is Maryland law, the spirit of Maryland law, and in conjunction with how this commission is operated. So thank you for being here. I do appreciate that. And thank you to my colleagues for letting me speak.
Absolutely, Commissioner. I'd like to follow up. So let me be very precise here. You're going to continue to internally track data with respect to what had been required by the MOU, correct?
We are, and I've been a part of many companies with different programs, and there's nothing wrong with tracking data.
That's exactly where I wanted to go. You don't feel that the internal tracking is in any way a violation of the federal mandate?
Now you're putting me on the hot seat. I'm not an attorney. That's not,
I'm not either,
that is
so-
my understanding, but we're going to get back to you all more formally with the
Okay.
responses. Because
Terrific,
you all
thank-
did ask some very specific questions about what we were going to continue to do and how we were going to do it.
Sure. Thank you very much. Well, we look forward to those responses. Commissioner Suchman.
Okay, and now I'm going to follow up. So, as a company, you believe that being a signatory to the MOU puts you in legal jeopardy in terms of the executive order and the False Claims Act. Is that? And Mr. Nichols, you can respond.
It's the executive orders
Okay.
regarding DEI that out of this administration that was the impetus for this decision.
Okay. This presentation that you made to us, you don't believe that violates the executive order?
No.
Okay. So if you were to come back next year with a similar presentation, you don't believe that would violate the executive order?
That I can't say, Commissioner Suchman. I think that's part of your specific questions directed to the company that we're working on a response to right now.
Okay. And do you believe that if you were not to be signatories to the MOU, you could still not be a part of this program? Or do you think that you can still be a part of the program without being a signatory to this particular MOU?
I think that's exactly what the Commission's questions that were directed to the company will answer.
Okay. And I guess if the MOU were to change, so the language were to change, so that it didn't, from the company's perspective, would not put you in legal jeopardy in terms of the federal government, is that an MOU that the company would be comfortable in signing? So I guess, in other words, the concern that you have is the language in the MOU puts you in legal jeopardy. If the language were to change, it's not that the company, I mean, you're collecting the data, you're still making a commitment to the community. If the language didn't put you in peril, you would not have a problem with signing an MOU like that.
That I can't answer. I think, as Mr. Reed mentioned, I think we can take that as an opportunity to look and see if there's something we can do with the language in the MOU.
Okay. Well,
I really liked what Commissioner Linton said, which is like, look, times change, right? Circumstances shift. Like, how can we still focus on what we all care about here and the impact, and how can we find a way forward? So
right. I mean, I would
work with you.
I would hate to see all of the good work that you've done sort of, go away. That there's an opportunity here, perhaps to shift the language, but still accomplish the same things that you had been doing and that you are committing today. Sounds like to continuing to do.
Yeah, the one thing that's not going to change is the commitment to the communities that we live in and we support and our ratepayers. So.
Okay. Great.
Nothing's evaporating. Like we continue to push forward.
Good. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will proceed then to Maryland American Water. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Okay, I think we've got, we obviously, the court reporter has your name, and I think if you're Dina Cooper Williams,
Yes.
he's got your name as well.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning again. My colleague and I are here to present for Maryland on behalf of Maryland American Water and our 2025 information. We are very proud that we are the only water utility that participates in this program. Because we are such a small portfolio of the Maryland Public Service Commission, just a little reminder about who we are. We're the largest PSC regulated water utility in the state of Maryland. We are part of American Water, which is the largest publicly traded water and wastewater utility in the United States. If you go to the next slide, I did want to emphasize that we are very pleased that we have recently expanded our operations with the acquisition of Maryland Water Service. So our history in Maryland, dating back to more than 90 years ago in the town of Bel Air in Harford County, has very recently increased in size. So now we serve a population of about 45,000 Marylanders in Harford County, Anne Arundel County, and now Allegheny County. We also, our non-regulated part of our business also serves the military base in Fort Meade. If you'll go to the next slide, a little bit about our footprint. All of the blue states are our regulated entities within the American Water footprint. The gray are the military services group, non-regulated states, where we also support 18 different military installations across the United States. My colleague Dina here is going to go into a little bit more about our 2025 information.
Yes. Before I go into Maryland specific information, I just wanted to reiterate American Water and Maryland American Water's commitment to an inclusive supply chain. In 2025, American Water, our goal, I'm sorry, not our goal, but we our 21.3% of our annual spend was with certified diverse suppliers, which equated to approximately $750 million. In addition to our commitment to a inclusive supply chain base, we are working on a national basis on ensuring an inclusive workforce within our utility, and that includes programs such as our Water Up Pipeline program, which serves underserved young adults, our Future Wave Makers internship program for college students, which is an 8-week program nationwide, and our Flow Forward Summer Camps, which is a new program for high school students, which is several days of summer camp, really educating youth on water, a water utility, what it's like to work in a water utility, and the importance of the work that we do. Maryland American Water, again, is committed to the MOU, and in 2025, as our previously submitted report shows, we did exceed the good faith goal of 25%. We spent 35% of our diverse goal, which represented about $2.2 million. We spent $1.9 million and some change directly with Comair Construction, which is a certified WBE. And our Tier 2 spend, specifically for Maryland, was $93,000. I also want to just point out that the integrity of our program is based on, or not our program, our strategy is based on certified diverse suppliers. So we do work with third-party agencies, and that is a requirement to be how we define diverse suppliers. In 2025, Maryland American Water leadership and the supplier engagement teams were diligent in attending events hosted by organizations such as Veterans in Business, WEBEC DMV, NAVOBA, and the Maryland Washington Minority Companies Association. So we continue to look for opportunities to both identify and engage with new suppliers. And as my colleague Laura previously mentioned, our geographic footprint is relatively small, and it does cause some limitations to the number of suppliers that can work directly with us, but we do anticipate new opportunities as our footprint continues to expand. One of our additional commitments in terms of just community partnerships is through our American Water Charitable Foundation. And in 2025, Maryland American Water specifically contributed over $196,000 to support 54 Maryland-based organizations. These organizations are listed here, and it's anything from local schools and PTAs to environmental organizations. And again, it's very important to note that these are Maryland-specific organizations. And in addition, our Maryland American Water employees volunteered 55 hours or more in the communities that we serve.
So, in closing, I did want to continue to reiterate that American Water and Maryland American Water specifically is very committed to engaging and developing with our suppliers, because we believe that having a robust supply chain that reflects the communities that we serve and that engages with local businesses is important to our customers, and is a good business practice also for resiliency and for business continuity, to continue to engage with those local businesses in the communities that we serve.
Thank you very much. Any questions for these witnesses? Go for it.
Hi, good morning. Just a comment. There are no small members of this supplier diversity program. So
Thank you.
appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. Well, thank you very much then. We will proceed to Potomac Edison.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Samantha Salaji. I believe you have that spelling on the paper there. Should be good. I'm the supervisor of the supplier development and contracts team within our supply chain department at First Energy, supporting and representing Potomac Edison today.
And good morning. My name is Kintasia Scott, here as counsel to the Potomac Edison Company. My name is also on that list as well. Good morning.
All right. Potomac Edison has exceeded our 25% aspirational goal again in 2025. We achieved 31.77% in diverse spend. This is compared to, in 2024, we were at 32.38%. We are on track in 2026 in meeting that goal as well. As of May, we're at 37.15%. The key factors to our success in 2025 continue to be our proactive engagement of ongoing monitoring, of spend reporting, to identify potential shortfalls and fluctuations in spend. Distribution and transmission construction projects continue to leverage diverse suppliers. Diverse line construction and electrical contractor spend represents the majority of all of our diverse spend. Diverse line construction and electrical contractor spend represented about 20% of our Tier 1 or prime supplier spend in 2025. Tier 2 engagement is another key to our success. We maintain a focus on Tier 2 commitments with our suppliers, with energy efficiency category representing the majority of our Tier 2. That Tier 2 commitment increased approximately 40% over 2024's numbers in 2025. An additional item that contributed to our success was conducting employee trainings and increased awareness about our supplier development programs, what our program is about, and our regular updates with our spend and reaching more across our company. Our outreach efforts, we continue to engage with our advocacy agencies, organizations to conduct diverse supplier with bid opportunities. We're a member of the Maryland-Washington Minority Companies Association, the National Minority Supplier Development Council, the NMSDC, the Women Business Enterprise Center of East, and the Utility Industries Group. That's all I had to share.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Questions from the bench? None, apparently. Thank you very much for your presentation. Let's proceed then to Columbia Gas.
Thanks.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Lance Hyde, and I'm the Manager of Economic Inclusion at NiSource, which is the parent company of Columbia Gas of Maryland. I just began the last couple months of 2025, so I'm not going to elaborate too much on what went well and what did not go well, and I certainly can't take the credit, but I will accentuate on a few different data points that merit including in this particular hearing. We did have a goal of 25% last year. We did reach that goal. As a matter of fact, we exceeded it at 26%. Another area that we did have, our overall spend, excuse me, please, for diverse suppliers was $756 million in total. $602 million was with Tier 1 and $153 million was with Tier 2. That number, I will say, since 2021 when we began, has gone up each year in percentage as well as with actual spend. So that's certainly something that's a positive development. Through Supplier IO, which is a third-party supplier that measures our economic impact, we did support over 4,900 jobs. And as an organization that's really trying to drive customer affordability, it's very important that we try to create jobs by virtue of our supplier diversity program. A couple other points to point out that went really well for us last year too is we are looking to spend in our capital project over $28 billion over the next 5 years. And we have already earmarked certain capital work for diverse firms that are intentionally targeted to complete some of that work as Tier 2. Also want to point out that we have created a Maryland-focused dashboard which will provide greater visibility for our business unit leaders and our category managers. So as we continue to increase our goals each year, we'll know exactly where we are depending on the cadence of where we are in that particular time of the year and what we can do to help increase that spend. So again, I just started the couple months of the year. So what I want to just focus on the few minutes that I do have is really highlight what we're doing today throughout our internal orientation to help reach us where we'd like to be in the future. And a couple of different things that we pointed out. We are facing some of the similar challenges in today's geopolitical climate that many of our peers are facing, and I just want to talk a little bit about what we're doing to try to overcome those challenges. We know that it's going to be a collaborative effort for us to do what we need to do to make sure that companies report Tier 2 to us. And we've had some companies that have taken a stance that they refuse to report Tier 2. So fortunately for our program, we've had some senior executive leaders adopt a posture that this is not acceptable to them. So unless it's a contractual requirement, some of our primes have taken the stance that they're not going to report. So some of our senior executive leaders have called and collaborated with our supplier diversity program. They've also collaborated with our supply chain team, and we're meeting to develop a strategy to how we're going to overcome this. Some of the things that have come up, we've talked about revising different contracts when they come up for renewals as one catalyst. Another opportunity that we're looking at is just simply whether or not determine if we're going to continue to utilize those companies. But again, as you may realize, supplier diversity programs are limited in terms of what we can and can't do. But when you have a senior executive leaders who hold the purse strings, it's a different dynamic. So we're hoping that that collaborative effort would replicate throughout all of our various business units throughout the enterprise. Our CEO said that the mantra for this year is to work in a spirit of collaboration and work smarter, not harder. We carry out that same mantra in a number of different ways. Number one is we're creating a supplier development program for the first time this year, and I've been tasked to create that program. We're socializing this with the category managers who know exactly where the opportunities for improvement are and what the barriers are. We're also working closely with the business units to find out what are these areas where we need improvements, whether it's access to capital, whether it's exposure to senior leadership. So based upon the criteria that we're finding out what are the barriers, we're developing strategies through this supplier development program to try to overcome those barriers. And we're looking to commence that in 2027. So hopefully by the next hearing, we'll be able to provide some sort of substantive developments as they unfold throughout the remainder of this year. Another area is where we're looking to increase that tier 2 spend is in our biannual business reviews with our prime suppliers. So with our prime suppliers now, at least twice a year, we bring them in for performance evaluations, which include safety, all the robust criteria that we use to measure and evaluate our suppliers. We're including their tier 2 reporting now and their utilization of diverse suppliers on our contracts as a new criterion to measure and evaluate their performance. And now that this is going to be a part of how they're evaluated, we're looking to this as to be a catalyst that will help to drive them to utilize diverse firms on our projects. Another area that we've done is the data. And one of the big challenges is about not reporting tier 2. Obviously, it does not allow us to report the numbers that we would like to promote. But as a publicly traded corporation, it's critically imperative for us to report accurate data for SEC guidelines, to our investment community, to our sustainability stakeholders. They rely on us to report accurate data. So whether it's an inhibition to want to report because of contracts with the federal government, unless our companies that are doing business with us are not reporting who they're spending money with on our projects, we're not in fact able to provide accurate data to you as a commission. We're not able to provide accurate data to our stakeholders, our investors, and through our monthly reporting. So it's imperative that when companies take a stance that they're not going to report tier 2, it disables companies' abilities to be able to report accurate data. So it's much broader impact other than just a refusal to report tier 2. Another area that we're finding as a challenge is the tariffs now and the situation that's happening in Iran. What we're finding is that many of our suppliers are passing those costs over to other companies. They're trying to pass those costs to us, and the impact that it has on diverse suppliers. What they're trying to do now, we find, is that some of our prime suppliers are not utilizing diverse firms as a means of trying to save money. So that's certainly an area that we have an opportunity for improvement, and we're working on ways to be able to try to curb that too as well. And it's just a couple of points that I do want to point out before we conclude. One area that we're looking at is we have a supplier diversity policy, but we've completely revamped that. And I've been tasked with putting together a very robust supplier diversity policy. And the premise of this policy is to provide much stronger accountability with our executive leadership team, with our business unit leaders who ultimately hold the purse strings in terms of who we do and do not utilize for product services and business solutions. It also puts a greater onus and accountability on our category managers as well, and of course on the economic inclusion. But by virtue of having a policy-driven decisions that hold our executive leadership team accountable will be a much stronger catalyst to help drive us to reach and hopefully exceed our economic inclusion goals and supplier diversity goals. And we have created data dashboards, again, as I mentioned, to create greater visibility throughout our enterprise. Our executive leadership team will have access to that. Our vice presidents, all of our directors, all of our category managers, and by virtue of having that visibility in terms of where we are, will give them greater awareness to be able to at least meet and or exceed our goals. So those are what we are trying to put together. And the last thing I will mention, we do have a strategic approach in terms of how we manage our outreach now. We've looked at our top 100 suppliers. We've identified where we're utilizing them from, whether it's from WeBank, NMSDC, whether it's Disability IN, and we're strategically deciding where we're going to sponsor, what amount, based upon where we're gaining the greatest return on our investment. And the last thing I will mention too, we do know how important the communities are, so we've hired an outside consultant to give us guidance. We're putting together a stakeholder engagement team, which supplier diversity is a part of that. And what we're trying to do is become much more strategic in our giving, whether it's diverse nonprofits, but the overarching goal is to figure out what we can do to create more jobs in the community, where can we invest in the community that will drive customer affordability? The more people have jobs, then the less they're concerned about the customer affordability. So we're looking at different opportunities, also rehabilitation programs for people who might have made decisions that they were disqualified them from working for corporations. We're looking at investing in certain nonprofit organizations that help in reentry, so to give a chance so those individuals who are our customers, by the way, have a viable and legitimate means to provide food and shelter for their families. And we're also looking to potentially invest in some community development financial institutions as well to help provide access to capital. So there are a myriad of different things that we're doing. These are the highlight. We're looking next year to provide substantive updates on any developments that unfold throughout the year. And happy to answer any questions that you have or take away any guidance or recommendations that you have to offer as well.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Questions? Commissioner Suchman.
Good morning, Mr. Hyde.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you for appearing. Hopefully it wasn't too long a trip.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Good. So for the primes that are pushing back, did they give you an explanation of why they're not providing the information? Are they looking to the federal government's executive order as the reason?
Yeah, that's a good question. And depending on who the particular customer is, they're clandestine in their approach. And the response that we had, they wanted to speak to an individual, not the number of individuals. So when we receive these notices, what they'll say sometimes is we're going to speak to someone within the enterprise. So we're not necessarily at my level privy to each of those, the rationale, but the feedback is given. It all pretty much goes back to the executive orders.
Okay. And so what is your response at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Do you look to other primes, or are you willing to excuse the absence of the data because of their inability to provide it based on their interpretation?
Yeah, so that's a great question too as well. And the answer to that question is it depends on the situation. Some we have a more of a inelastic demand for than others. If it's not a contractual requirement, it's really not much from a legal basis that we can do. For example, if that reporting was voluntary, which has been the case for many of them, it's not a contractual violation. So we don't really have any legal grounds to stand to say, okay, we're going to discontinue. What we take an approach is when the renewals come up, then that will be a decision we make. We certainly still try to reach out to them. Our leadership reach out to them and underscores the importance of it and what it means to them. And to what we heard earlier today, we would ask, if you've been reporting it for the past year, the executive orders were a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. So if it was legal last year, why has it all of a sudden become illegal now, or why have you changed the position? And different excuses for different suppliers. But the broader concern is when it's the global suppliers that take that stance. We're more concerned with the broader impact that it may have on some of the smaller suppliers.
Okay. And are you seeing an increase in the number of primes that are telling you they're uncomfortable about providing this information?
Oh, yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. And are you seeing some you go back to them and say you've provided this before? Are you seeing at a willingness to provide information, or are you seeing still a steadfast we can't provide that information to you?
That's still yet to be determined.
Okay.
Some of the responses have taken a position they are not. Some are we'll get back to you. So it's a combination. It's not one just consistent response.
Okay. Now you're in a number of different states. Are any of the other NiSource companies signatories to an MOU that looks like our MOU?
The only one that I believe that I'm aware of, and don't quote me on this, I believe Pennsylvania has one that's somewhat similar. I know there's a reporting requirement. I'm not sure if there's an actual hearing that we do, but that's the one that I see is probably the most similar.
Okay. And is the NiSource company in Pennsylvania experiencing the same kind of pushback from primes about a reluctance to provide that information?
I don't know if it's necessarily varying by state. It's by company.
Okay.
So in other words, if one particular company took a stance, they wouldn't take a stance, well, in this particular state we can or can't report, or that particular state we can or can't. It's usually more by company from my observation at this point, ma'am.
Okay. And NiSource remains comfortable in being a signatory to the Maryland MOU?
Oh, absolutely. Unequivocally. As a matter of fact, our CEO called it out last year at our town hall. And the commitment is unwavering, and we do business with the federal government, and we're still taking a stance that we're still going to be very proactive in terms of our supplier diversity.
And you don't see that you're putting the company at legal risk in maintaining your commitment to the MOU?
Obviously, that's the position that our leadership has taken. They're very proactive with supplier diversity. They remain committed to this memorandum of understanding. And as a matter of fact, we're increasing our goal this year. As a matter of fact, our goal is going to be increased to 26% this year, 27% next year, and all the way up to 30% by 2030. So no, we're 100% all the way in with it. And again, that commitment comes all the way from the very top of our Chief Executive Officer, Lloyd Yates.
Good to hear. Thank you so much. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further questions? Apparently not. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you all.
We will proceed then to SMECO. Welcome back, Mr. Krieger.
Good morning, Chair Barbe, members of the Commission. Damon Krieger on behalf of Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative, and I am here today with the team at the cooperative that leads our supplier diversity program. Their names are all on the agenda for today, but I'll certainly let them introduce themselves, and they will be speaking predominantly to you. You hear enough from me.
Hi, good morning. I'm Katie Weber. I'm the Fixed Assets and Logistics Managing Director.
Good morning. I'm Denise Chalmers, and I am the Procurement and Supplier Diversity Director.
Good morning, Michelle Lakin. I am.
Just a little closer.
Oh. Good morning, Michelle Lakin. I'm the Procurement and Supplier Diversity Manager.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on SMECO's Supplier Diversity Program. For 2025, SMECO continued to make steady progress in strengthening supplier diversity, expanding outreach, and embedding diverse supplier participation into our day-to-day procurement practices. One of the key accomplishments for the year was that SMECO's total diverse supplier spend reached $25.3 million, which was an increase of nearly $500,000 compared to 2024. While our overall diverse spend percentage decreased slightly from 22.8% to 21.9%, that decrease was largely tied to timing. Nearly $1 million in station transformer spend was a diverse supplier shifted from 2025 into 2026 due to scheduled delivery delays. Had that spend occurred in 2025, our percentage would have been approximately 22.6%. So while we did not reach the 25 aspirational goal in 2025, way too many numbers here, the overall trend remains positive. Over the past decade, SMECO's diverse supplier spend has more than doubled, which shows that the program is continuing to grow and mature in a meaningful way. In 2025, we saw strong performance in several categories. Minority business enterprise participation showed double-digit growth, and spend with certified women's business enterprises continued to expand. These results reflect the work being done by procurement in intentionally including diverse suppliers in bid opportunities, strengthening relationships, and better understand supplier capabilities. Another important improvement in 2025 was the expansion of SMECO's Tier 2 reporting efforts. SMECO strengthened its process by incorporating additional prime contractors that utilize diverse subcontractors. As a result, reported diverse spend increased by approximately 2%. This improvement reflects greater visibility into diverse supplier participation beyond SMECO's direct spend. From an internal standpoint, we continue to focus on awareness and education. Our procurement team worked to ensure that diverse suppliers are considered in competitive sourcing opportunities, and we held meet and greet sessions connecting SMECO decision makers with diverse owned businesses. Externally, SMECO continued to participate in supplier diversity conferences, outreach events, and networking opportunities. These efforts are helping us expand our supplier pipeline and stay connected with organizations that support diverse businesses. With that said, there are areas we know we need improvement. Veteran-owned and service-disabled veteran-owned business spend declined in 2025, and that is a category we will be focusing on more intentionally in 2026. We also recognize that some categories, including LGBTQ, HubZone, and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses, require more targeted outreach and supplier development. Looking ahead in 2026, SMECO's focus will be on building from the progress made in 2025 and moving the program from participation towards stronger accountability, better data, and more intentional supplier development. A major initiative for 2026 will be SMECO's Doing Business with SMECO, where we are also partnering with Eastern Utilities. This is an outreach event that's intended to connect diverse suppliers directly with key decision makers across the cooperatives. It will provide information on SMECO and Easton's procurement process, upcoming opportunities, qualification expectation, and ways suppliers can better position themselves to compete for work. We also plan to continue strengthening our internal processes. That includes working with department directors, operational leaders, to identify barriers that may impact diverse supplier participation. The goal is not to lower standards, but to make sure qualified diverse suppliers have a fair and practical opportunity to compete. In 2026, procurement will also continue to reinforce the expectation that at least one qualified diverse supplier is included in competitive bid opportunities whenever possible. We will also continue incorporating supplier diversity expectations into procurement documents, RFPs, contracts, and prime contractor discussion. Overall, SMECO remains committed to the 25% aspirational goal outlined in the MOU. We recognize that progress may fluctuate from year to year based on project timing, capital spend, material availability, and contract cycles. However, the broader trend shows continued growth, stronger program structure, and a clear commitment to improving supplier diversity performance. In summary, 2025 was a year of continued progress. We increased total diverse supplier dollars, strengthened outreach, improved Tier 2 reporting, and expanded internal awareness. At the same time, we recognize the need to improve performance in underrepresented categories, strengthen prime contractor engagement, and continue improving data accuracy and accountability. As we move into 2026, SMECO is focused on practical, measurable steps that will help expand opportunities for diverse suppliers, support compliance with the MOU, and continue building a supplier base that reflects the communities we serve. Thank you.
Go ahead. Do you want to add anything?
No additional comments.
Okay. In that case, questions? No. That was a no. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will proceed then to the Eastern Utilities.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioner and
Yep, by 1 minute.
Chairman and Commissioners. Okay. My name is Carrie Manuel. I'm the CFO at Eastern Utilities Commission. Several of my colleagues had hoped to be here with me along today, but fortunately summer plans and other commitments prevented that. Eastern Utilities is here today, unfortunately, in the last place. It's not a position we'd like to be in, and it is not one we are proud of or represents our commitment to the program. We've had members previously participate in the Utilities Forum, and Eastern Utilities looks forward to supporting the reinvigoration of that forum. In addition, just mentioned by SMECO, we'll be joining forces to make improvements in this program and strengthen our outreach. All of the companies represented here have achieved greater results than us, and we're hoping to learn their best practices on a more deeper, more meaningful scale. And so while the forum enjoys its reinvigoration, we look for other conduits and avenues to continue to improve our numbers. The one thing we can say is that Easton is open for business, and we pride ourselves on making it easy for vendors to do business with us. We're a small, powerful company and are proud to represent the munis in the state. I believe when this program originally started, the threshold for signing up for the program was a procurement level of $10 million or above. This is the first year in our MBE reporting history since 2012 in which we are over the $10 million procurements in the electric business. Eastern Utilities has opportunities, and we want people to come to the table. We're looking for vendors all the time to do paving, flagging, conduit installation, and those things, but we just cannot get the vendors to show up at the doorstep and bid. Our geographic location can present a hurdle for some, and our routine operating needs are simply not large enough to draw certain vendors. So when we have big opportunities, we present them into the market and we receive bids. We know we are doing our best to provide an opportunity and fulfilling our commitment as part of this program. So thank you for inviting us today.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Linton?
Do you have one? Oh, okay.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, or good afternoon, I'm sorry.
Hey,
So I had the opportunity to visit Eastern Utilities several months ago. I know a few of my colleagues have also had that opportunity as well. And I can just say that I've been impressed with the fact that there's a lot of innovation there. And so I appreciate that you and SMECO are starting to combine your resources to try and move the needle a little bit more. Could you just give us a highlight level as to where you are with that now?
With working with SMECO?
Yes.
Honestly, I need to, I would defer to SMECO because Kurt Fuchs is our external affairs manager, and I know that he has been reaching out to a number of munis, but I cannot provide an update at this time. But would happy to follow up with you later.
That's fine. I appreciate it. Like I said, there's a lot of very good innovation happening in Easton, so I'm not concerned at all about your ability to accomplish the goals you set up for yourself. So.
Well, thank you for coming to Easton, and we have an open door if anyone ever wants to come visit us.
The super utility, as I call it. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Hoover.
So how big an obstacle is the bridge, basically, since a lot of these companies are probably on the Western Shore, are they just not willing to make that travel commitment to serve you?
I think just the travel time, the commitment possibly to, for lodging expenses and other expenses. And our projects, unless it's a big capital projects, it's just not that intense and inviting, for them to cross the bridge. And I don't find it's a big obstacle. I'm here today and travel frequently across the bridge. But for businesses wanting to make the most of their time, it can be a hurdle.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll now proceed to Chop Tank.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Kayla Corsi, I'm the Legal and Regulatory Specialist for Chop Tank Electric. I will spell my name because I don't think I was on the original agenda.
You're there.
Okay, thank you. So Chop Tank is a not-for-profit member-owned electric distribution cooperative serving the eastern shore of Maryland. We do have a rural service territory with just under 9 meters per mile, which is woven together with Delmarva's eastern shore territory. Chop Tank strives to be accessible to any company that wants to do business with us. We continue to use our vendor package on our website under the Doing Business with Us section, which allows potential vendors to make us aware of their services and ensures pricing is competitive. Our diverse spend in real dollars decreased this reporting period from $4 million to $1.8 million, and our total utility procurement also decreased from $47 to $34 million. We do think it's important to note that we had an additional $689,000 in diverse spend that was not included in the official report due to the self-certification threshold. And lastly, Chop Tank is pleased to participate in the newly revived utility forum on supplier diversity that Ms. Lewis described earlier. We look forward to collaborating with other utilities and hope to gain insight and awareness of diverse suppliers looking to do business in our territory. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you very much. We're now at the end of this proceeding. I did invite any of my colleagues to make any concluding statements if they would like to. Commissioner?
Thank you.
Linton?
Just one. And very briefly, first of all, thank you to all of the companies for being here today. I think you'd appreciate the fact that we're getting out a little before lunch. So for most of you, it should be a safe and easy commute home. As you've heard a little bit today from a couple of parties, these are some interesting times when it comes to this type of initiative. After 25 years, it's gone through some bumps like this before. But what I encourage you to do is to continue to use the resources of the utility forum and each other. It's part of the reason why I was very eager to make sure that that forum was repaneled and put back together again, because there's opportunities there for you to learn from each other and to continue making improvements to a program that the utilities wanted to be in the shape and format that it is now. It is voluntary because the utilities preferred it that way, and the commission, of course, was comfortable moving forward with it like that. So if there are concerns that you have, if there are issues that you feel need to be addressed, nothing wrong with hashing it out there, nothing wrong with reaching out to us. We have representatives of the commission staff that have been open and participating, in not only in the forum, but our doors have been open to all of you as part of this adaptive effort to try and continue to make certain that the state of Maryland is benefiting from ratepayer dollars. And so that's ultimately always been the goal. And it's good to see that every year the program has grown a lot more than it used to be. And so that's a testament to all of your work, to the many advocacy organizations that support this initiative. I was going to tease Mr. Frazier, but he left. He actually participated in the original negotiating of the first MOU. So many years ago, he was part of those multiple meetings to hash out the language that we use today, along with many other parties, elected officials, and others. So don't think that you're in this alone, because you're not. I understand many people aren't here today, but they are watching online, and they do take a look at the report the commission produces. So if you find yourself struggling with it a little bit, reach out, and we'll figure it out. So thanks again for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Hoover?
So I can understand the, I guess, reluctance on the part of the companies to try to oppose this effort by the federal government, even though it seems to be a misguided policy at best. And I can appreciate the fact that you don't want to put a target on yourselves, but I guess what I would encourage you to do is that through your national trade associations, EEI, AGA, maybe have those entities try and communicate to the federal authorities, even if they don't necessarily want to listen, about how important this is. Because one of the things I was struck when we did this last year, and the first time I became really acquainted with the program, was, you know, not just the efforts by the utilities, but sort of the enthusiastic efforts by the utilities. This was something they thought was very worthwhile to do, and were very committed to doing, and you know, even numbers went down a little bit, it seems to be the commitment was there. This was not something that they were being dragged to do. They were looking to do this. And so now I find it ironic that, the federal government's basically trying to stop you from doing something that you were enthusiastically doing. So I guess I would encourage you to try and push back on this. I mean, I understand that there are other institutions in the country, a lot of educational institutions that are going through a similar process where they're being pressured by the federal government not to pursue these types of areas when it comes to how they operate. And so they have, some of them have pushed back on their own, but I think they've also tried to use their associations to sort of announce that this is not something that should be discouraged, but should be encouraged. And so I would ask the utilities here, again, to sort of make it clear to your national trade associations that you view this as an important priority for your industry, and it's accomplished a lot of good in the past, and it will accomplish a lot more good in the future.
Thank you. Commissioner Suchman.
So I'm agreeing with everything my colleagues have said so far. But I would also encourage you to find a path forward. That hearing from you today, all of the work that you've done, it would be such a shame if that were to go away. And it's not just because you're giving assistance to folks that need the help, but you're engaging in the community. Utilities are part of the community, and as you heard, the contractors that you work with are themselves part of the community and are giving back to the community. And so I would encourage you, in whatever ways that you can, to preserve the work that you've done already, and to move forward with that, and to not be discouraged by the noise that you're hearing outside of your industry, but find a way to make that happen, and also hear from us that we're here to try to help you to make sure that can happen. So and that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner McLean.
Thank you, sir. I agree with my colleagues, and I definitely want to commend Mr. Hyde and NiSource for their continued support of the program, and that's something we need. Obviously, the program's only successful if utilities participate, and I know it's a voluntary program, and you can see the impact the numbers have had when we've had utilities drop out, and we'll probably see another drop when Washington Gas drops out next year, and there obviously could be more. So we obviously need your continued participation. It's an important program. I know there are bigger factors that impact your decisions as to whether or not you're going to continue to participate, but as Commissioner Litton has said a couple times, if we need to tweak something, let's tweak it. Let's find a way through, or around, or under, over, what have you. But we need to keep this program strong. And if we continue to have utilities drop out for whatever reason, that's not going to be a benefit to anyone. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, thank you very much. I just want to again reiterate the fact that one of the reasons even my conservative friends in the legislature supported this kind of a program was because it was voluntary. And I think there was broad support because it works and it's for a worthy goal. I have to say, I was very heartened to hear many things here. I agree with Commissioner McLean with respect to NiSource. I was also very happy to hear the testimony from Washington Gas. I think that there are plenty of opportunities for us as a group of people who are concerned about having all aspects of our society move forward and succeed. To use mechanisms and strategies that have worked in the past. I'm very happy to hear about the commitment that everybody in this room has made toward local businesses and small businesses. And it's my hope that we will continue to be able to succeed using that and perhaps other strategies. As a matter of practicality, though, I must say that regulations require this commission to make a public determination on the viability of this program in the next several months. So I invite you to continue to stay engaged with us. I very much look forward to the data data responses, especially from Washington Gas, because that's going to inform what we have to say in that public determination. So with all of that, I think that this is a challenging time. I have noted from many of the people I've spoken with the very deep concern, even from utility partners who are going to back away from the MOU. I've noticed legitimate and sincere concern about this and their willingness and desire to move forward nonetheless in ways that are legal. So with that, I will conclude this proceeding. I think we can leave here being somewhat hopeful in spite of the mandate that's emanating from downtown in DC. And it's for that reason and that's the way I want to conclude this. I want to conclude this on a hopeful note. So thank you all for participating.